Hello, my friends. Let's take a look at Tezos and Chainlink and compare them with their dollar pairings, their Bitcoin pairings, their Ethereum pairings, and see if we can learn anything about what's going on in the charts today. I'm going to be using the Bollinger Bands along with everything else that we've talked about recently just to freshen things up a little, give you some ideas, and I'll see you in the charts in just a second. Well, here we are back in the charts. Going to take a look at Tezos first today, looking at this downward wedge here that we have on the go versus the Bitcoin pricing. And where do we see that we have had the prices come in as high as today? Look at this. Look at where they've come in so far today, up here towards the top end of this wedge. Now, does that mean that I'm going to become unenthused about the price action with regards to this? Well, no, not really, to be honest with you. Not really. We have come up towards the top end. We could see this just continue on as it has been doing. Let's be fair that we know this is the story. But what we can also see here is that during this wedge, we've had this downward movement with the price action tracing the Bollinger Band towards the downside, and we've never really moved away from it in any given individual candle with particularly much emphasis towards the top side at all until today. Hopefully this is a decent enough sign for us. We could look up towards the median line of it, but I actually want to take a look down the way at a more advanced technique of using this thing and apply the 4-hour Bollinger Band to the current price action and say, look, we've hit the median line. Now, if we do move beyond where we are just now, we'll be looking up towards the top side, and of course our target is going to be 1414 with regards to that. That brings us in pretty close to the 236 here. Things look pretty groovy for that one. Did you like that tidbit? Did you like that tip? Did you like seeing that happen? Hit subscribe, hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. I would really appreciate it if you've already subscribed to hit the like button. That would help the channel. See you in a bit. That's going to cover us up for today for this one. We could look at other things. You know, I didn't look at the oscillators at all in the Bitcoin Ethereum pairing video. I'm not going to really do that today either. You just get all the lessons. You already know the chat. Let's take a look over here towards the dollar pricing and wadoosh. Now we've moved towards the top side. That's very good. Let me just then draw into context again. This is a more advanced methodology here of using this thing. Don't think anybody teaches it anywhere in the world. It's certainly not stuff that I've seen anybody else teach anywhere, and it will feature on my course whenever I make one for people. But look here, we are up here at the minute. This is where this is. This is the 4-hour on the daily, and it lines up perfectly with this line here, which is the 236. That could of course be a target. Let's see. Let's call this one support. Okay, that's support in there. And let's stick this back on the daily just so we can see what we were talking about. Same as symbol in terms of this, right up towards the median line of this thing. I want to see this operate as support as well. The 382, should we need it to, it would be nice if it did, of course. And of course, the median line moving towards the top side of this. If we don't, it's okay. I'm not going to panic too much about it. The fact that we've come up here and challenged it at all is decent. It's been a while since we've had any real sort of comparable points here in terms of coming up and finding something. So if we do close out the day above this area, I feel like it gives us the real impetus towards moving towards our higher targets. And our higher targets we've discussed to death already. They include a 618 retracement up towards 220. Now, of course, if we do go on beyond that, I'm not going to get too excited moving past the 786 at 231. Well, no, I would moving past it, it's a different story. Moving up to it, going to, you know, with a degree of caution if we do go up there, because of course, you know, this is dodgy territory. Now, let me just put this into context as well. Over the last few days, we've seen price rises up here of already 13%. People ask about trading Tezos. Is it worth it? Well, versus the dollar, it absolutely is. We could be looking up towards another 15% move towards the top side here. If we do go up the way, that would be lovely jubbly. Caution comes back into play there. Let's jump over to the Ethereum pairing and show you how the Bollinger Bands are therefore lining up with where we have this wedge. Now, of course, this wedge being a more statistically bullish pattern and seeing how the confluence here comes into play with regards to the wedge. Just look at the wedge. Ignore the background stuff, the horizontal lines, just these two blue lines and the Bollinger Band itself here. And just look at the two blue lines. Look at the two blue lines. Look at where the pricing is. Look at the apex here. Hide the drawings. Movements outside of this are going to take us up towards the top end. Now, of course, this has given us a degree of where we can see fake out territory quite easily with this one. And there's a dynamic on the go here. The Ethereum prices have done well. Look at the Ethereum video today. Look at it. Look at the Bitcoin video. Skip towards the Ethereum section. You do it, right? If you don't do it, then you do it tomorrow. Yeah, missing out. Right, cool. That's going to do for us for there. We've had a nice bit of movement here off this thing. Of course, it's just tiny, small fry at the minute. We need to see some positive follow through. We're going to come down to the dollar pairing for that, to be frank, still. Link Bitcoin, right? So here we are looking at Link Bitcoin, came down here, pushed back in. This is a decent move again for one of the first times. We found support in and around about the parallel channel of this thing. Now the median line of the parallel channel. Now what we're looking here for is a movement back above 79. Then we can undo the 236 over here. That's going to be key for us in terms of taking out targets towards the top side. Things have been looking pretty good over here. And then that's despite the fact that we've had a rise up in the Bitcoin prices, isn't it? Yes, it is. Now what's interesting about that? Well, the interesting thing about that, frankly, having discussed this to death, I'm not going to go into it in great detail. Thank you so much to everybody who subscribes. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. This price action here has been done in excruciating detail with every single bit along the way covered. It's okay for me to move past this and just summarize it briefly. It really is. You ought to subscribe. Looking up the way there at the minute with this thing, good. But why has this happened? Wadoosh. Well, what do we have here? Only yet another absolutely perfect piece of TA from Rocky Outcrop. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm going on about myself a lot here today. I am. But, you know. So here we have it, 1033, great target, moved up towards the top side. Where did we say in yesterday's video would be the key area for us? Right here, I think I probably said 1172 or 1170. I'm not sure exactly what exact number I said, you know, but here we are at 1179. Movements past this, very good. Next target, 1219. Next target, 360 or 1369. Okay, those are our targets there, and very, very, very good. I mean, we've done very well. Okay, looking good. Move past the median line of the Bollinger Band. I want to see support if we need it coming in at 1133. Likewise, again, we know the support areas that we've been down at recently, they just still continue on the way. Did we get the hidden bullish divergence? We didn't get hidden bullish divergence on the RSI. We did on the Stochastics slightly, not really. We're in volatility territory yet again. We came to the end of volatility territory. Moved up the way. We're now at here asking questions yet again. Of course, this negative strength of trend has died off during this period. I mean, of course, this is just lines up perfectly. Perfect alignment between the DMI and the prices up above. Excellent stuff. Moving on to the other chart, we had our textbook measured move. This is why we talk about the two different types of moves that you get. You get a textbook one and you get the full one. Now, we had a full textbook measured move here, as you can see, rather than the so-called full move. That makes perfect sense. Why does that make so much perfect sense, you might ask? Well, one of the reasons for it, of course, is that a failed breakout from one of these things simply becomes more like a channel, as we've spoken about so many times in the past, and that puts us in bang on the median line of this if it were a channel. I suppose I've said it and everything else, I will need to actually go ahead and demonstrate that for you. Bang on the median line of the channel. There you go. Perfect stuff. Lovely jubbly. Ethereum price action for Link Ethereum. Oh my goodness. What do we have here? Textbook measured move off the back of this thing towards the downside, coming back up. We've got two options, you know, either we go down currently towards the next level at 21, we spoke about this before, or we move from 25 where we came down as low as 25, my god, up towards the top side. Everything looking pretty perfect there with regards to that. I'm going to move this down towards the 4 hour on here just to give you a better idea of how we're at the median line right now. Movements towards the top side, finding resistance in again here on these time frames. Support if we need to have it down there at 25. 292 again, but you know, this is where we find ourselves right now. Volatility having done its thing, the musical chair stopped here. We moved up the way. Yeah, it's extremely interesting, extremely good stuff. I hope you enjoyed the video. It's 9 minutes today. That's good. I wanted to make a briefer one today. Yeah, I went above and beyond yesterday with the migraine and everything. Thank you so much to everybody who sent me wishes to get well soon. I really do appreciate it. It worked. It worked. Thank you so much to everybody. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. I mean, you really ought to. Okay, cool. Nice one. Thanks so much. See you next time.